stop. And thank you. And don't forget, on your way out, help yourself to a free orphan. Happy Wednesday, everyone. So a new book claims that legendary actress Marilyn Monroe was actually murdered. The author recently came to this conclusion after studying one of the last photos ever taken of her. The IRS plans to determine if OnlyFans, whose online creators monetize adult content, should be taxed on tips. And since the agency will be reviewing hours of X-rated content, they've already hired hundreds of agents who can type with one hand. A new study claims that smelling a person's flatulence can help prevent Alzheimer's. But I guess it doesn't work for everyone. Who did that study? Who pitched the idea? At a recent robotics conference, a new android moved so fluently that people thought there was an actor inside. They were quickly disproven when the robot said something smart about politics. Thank you. 24 hot New York firefighters did a meet and greet for their new calendar. While some reporters asked questions, one journalist purposely got stuck in a nearby tree. lemontree.org. No, that was lemonparty.org. I correct myself. Speaking of trees, earlier tonight was the big tree lighting ceremony at Rockefeller Center, which means by now it probably has been stripped and sold for parts. And finally, Trump supporters are planning a huge MAGA takeover of Disneyland on the same date as the Gay Days celebration. Or as Lindsey Graham calls it, a win-win. It's a good joke. It's a great joke. We love Lindsey. All right. So while the Trump administration wipes out drug boats, the media's latest fraud emerges from the depths like a famished Joy Behar chasing a school of mackerel. It's the Coke boat hoax. As you know, the military struck a drug-filled cartel boat heading to the U.S., then struck it a second time, killing the remaining terrorists. For some reason, that second shot was the war crime, which confuses me, I have to be honest. They're mad that we didn't kill them the first time. It's an odd lesson. It's like saying you can go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, but you can't go back for seconds. Now, the Washington Post is accusing Pete Hegseth of a war crime, claiming he finished off the remaining creeps on purpose. But it shouldn't shock you that the people who brought you Russiagate were heavy on speculation and light on reality, because even the New York Times is calling the story fake, saying Pete ordered the strikes, but he didn't say kill survivors. I know, it's the New York Times. I immediately checked to see if The View was booking a trip overseas, because apparently pigs do fly. Thank you. You people. Here's Pete himself.
We've had a bit of a pause because it's hard to find boats to strike right now, which is the entire point, right? Deterrence has to matter, not arrest and hand over and then do it again.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war.
The fog of war, something the media rarely experiences unless, well, you count the cloud Jerry Nadler releases after his morning Taco Bell. But really, everything they see is through the fog of Trump.
Do you believe it amounts to a war crime?
Under the facts, yes.
If the facts are as have been alleged, that's a stone-cold war crime. It's also murder.
This is clearly a war crime.
Some people are calling a war crime.
It's flat out murder, and anyone that acted on those orders could be held on war crimes.
Yeah. So now The View are experts on war crimes. Sorry, the closest these broads have come to war was when they once launched a frontal assault on a cheesecake factory. That was their Mogadishu. And now that these realize they're down to the last bite on the hoax apple, what do? They become the victim. Mark Kelly says he's getting violent threats after Trump called him out. I hate to say it, pal, but in a country with 370 million people, nearly all on the internet, it's par for the course. Hell, I bet Steve Doocy got more threats than Kelly after he put out his last cookbook. Hell, I get 4 threats a day, and those are just from one ex. Now, do you really buy that any of these hacks actually care about who's being killed? They didn't care about the gangs when they terrorized our cities, when people were murdered, kids trafficked, women thrown in front of trains. They didn't report on the border until their political lives depended on it. And now they care. But as usual, the victims they choose to care about aren't the same as ours. They worry about the terrorists, except now they're no longer terrorists.
There is no such thing as a narco-terrorist.
People on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean carrying cocaine are not a direct threat to the lives of our service members or Americans.
Most narco traffickers are not in those boats. They pay people to do that, and usually people who are not significantly involved with narco trading. It's the way they make money.
So they're just trying to make a buck. You know, Trump could do anything, including getting a Democrat to come out in favor of capitalism. But that was a good joke, but let's move on. But yeah, they're just trying to make money, you know, the same way human traffickers are really just travel agents for the poor. Which gives us another reason to kill terrorists on the spot. Because we can't trust these idiots to treat them like terrorists if they live. How soon before one of the injured are transported to America and receive free margaritas and a hand job from Chris Van Allen? Yeah, you like the hand job. I mean, look at New York, where roughly 7,000 illegal migrants, including killers tied to 29 homicides, have been released onto the streets due to sanctuary laws. So if a narco-terrorist was sent here, he'd be let go faster than one of my writers who makes eye contact. But they have their bloomers in a bunch for one reason, because Hegseth's fighting America's enemies without excuses or apologies. For decades, we relied on the metaphor known as the war on drugs, but it wasn't a war any more than using a spoon to remove water from a sinking ship is. So Trump thinks, has anyone truly waged a real war on drugs? Not a bad idea. I mean, they come to this country and kill our people. Seems deserving of war, and why keep fighting the endless influx of drugs when we can just turn their whole operation into a shark feed? Right, Mr. President?
These people have killed over 200,000 people, actually killed over 200,000 people last year, and those numbers are down. Those numbers are down. They're way down. And they're down because we're doing these strikes, and we're going to start doing those strikes on land, too.
So I guess maybe these Democrats are correct. There is no such thing as a narco-terrorist. Well, not for long, anyway. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He speaks with precision and supports circumcision. Host of the Ben Shapiro Show, Ben Shapiro. He thought drugs were his rock bottom until he got booked on our show. Comedian Dave Landau. She's so skinny, Santa leaves her milk and cookies. New York Times bestselling author of Here we go. And he trims his beard with a Prison Road Gang, former NWA World Champion and host of the Planet Hours podcast. Ben, always a pleasure to have you on this show. How you doing?
Doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. No one really ever asks me. You think they would, given the hard work I do every night just to make you people happy. But let's move on, okay? Maybe I'm bitter. So, Ben, isn't it amazing how Trump can get Democrats to end up defending anything? And now it's like, They're not terrorists if they're on a boat.
It is definitely entertaining. I think that the Trump administration should encourage the Venezuelans to send fetuses to ship the drugs, because that way, when he hits it with the Hellfire missile, the Democrats are just happy.
Nicely done. Yeah. Huh? Yes, very well done. We're a little pro-life joke into there, Dave. When I look at you, I'm never pro-life.
Thank you.
Do you find
My mother said the same.
do you think this logic, and again, it's a war crime, that does the second strike matter if the first one is supposed to be lethal? I mean, they're saying, like, you didn't kill him the first time, we're not going to let you kill him again?
That's the part I don't get. Like, you went to kill a bunch of people, and then you're like, but you didn't see if they were okay. And then you tried the second time? What is it, only the first shot works? Like, is there a rule to that?
I don't know. It's like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, but they say you can only go up once. Well, then I'm going to just eat everything.
Right. And why does the view matter?
Yeah.
Like, Whoopi only wants the military locked up because she's the predator. And that entire panel only wants drugs coming in because, I mean, let's be honest, you can only watch that show if you're high on fentanyl. And I've definitely been, if someone told me we're going to be in the Caribbean and there's a boatload of coke coming, many times in my life I would have been really excited. But this is a time where, you know, it's more severe and we got to take care of it. So if the goal is to kill him, kill him.
Yeah.
There was a game called Narc I used to play in the 80s. It was an arcade game. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
You killed narcs and you got points.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it says... I don't understand why they're no longer, like, why the Democrats once again are like freaking out about what you call things. Yeah.
Was that directed at me?
No, I always stare. No, I was at the person behind you.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely see your point about Democrats and the hypocrisy, and I definitely agree with that point. I also am at this point considering a little bit of bombing perhaps might do my sinuses some good, because get Pete Hegseth up in here. You guys don't like that one? All right. Well, I mean, listen, I'm with Rand Paul on this. I stand 10 toes down with him on this. I agree with everything he said about this, at least that I've seen. And I think that that's very different than saying you agree with Joy Behar, not just because...
What did he say?
Not just because of the optics of it, because he is, like I am, across the board concerned about, you know, or hesitant when it comes to intervention. And he's been that way across the board, not just like now, but not Obama, or saying that, like, I'm concerned about this, but you got a Ukraine flag in your bio, and so on and so forth. So I think that that's an important distinction to make.
Okay. Tyrus, what say you?
I'm starting to get a little worried about this, Greg.
Yeah?
Because I don't know if you remember when President Trump came on this show. My question was...
Oh, my God, you're right!
Wouldn't it be cool if you made all the drug dealers terrorists and you blew them up?
I remember that!
Y'all remember that?
Yeah, and he says, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
What other suggestions did you make today?
Yes.
Yeah, I made a few.
How many of
I just wanted a horse from Saudi Arabia.
By the way, you asked him for that too.
Yes, but I didn't get the horse. But, here's the other thing. What besides the fact that we make policy here on the Gutfeld Show.
Yes.
Yeah, put that in your pipe, Hannity. What kills me is the response from the people who have a problem with this, because the original theory behind this was if you sunk a ship in World War II with a torpedo, and the ship sunk, and all the guys were hanging on the side, that's not the time where you go, target practice, fellas, bomb it again. That's when you're not supposed to. It had nothing to do with how many times you hit a drug boat. This is new territory, so to speak. But when you hear them say, well, it's the best way for them to make money. It's who is in these meetings like, hey, a drug ship got blown up. We need to spin this, fellas. Who's got this? who's going to save the drug dealer.
Yes.
Like, that's the meeting. Like, we have to turn this around. I don't feel sorry for the guys getting blown up because here's the thing. In America, no one's feeling sorry for the poor kids who think they were taking an Adderall pill who took fentanyl. See, the thing is, here's the lesson in it for Venezuela or drug dealers. Fentanyl's dangerous. Just being around it can get you killed.
Yeah.
Courtesy of the United States of America. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, this ain't Coke. You know.
Is fentanyl coming from Venezuela? Have we seen evidence of that? I've seen that there's a lot of Coke.
Yeah.
But most Americans agree fentanyl is real bad. I think the opinions on cocaine are a little more mixed.
Not if you have a mother or a son who's strung out on it, or you have
horrible.
someone who's on heroin.
I was making a joke. Sorry.
Yeah, but the fentanyl and drugs are coming China, Mexico, through Venezuela.
The part of this that is quite astonishing, though, is that the New York Times already debunked the story.
Yes.
Right, and so we're actually arguing over a thing that almost certainly did not happen.
Yes.
That's sitting there.
Yeah,
and
they're
saying,
acting like Pete was drinking a beer with his tie wrapped around his head, going, "Hit it again!"
Right, like
hit it again.
That he's sitting there watching. That's right. That he's sitting there watching the end of Titanic and seeing Kate Winslet and Leo on the door, and he's like,
"Get him!"
Knock those. Yeah, but none of that happened. And so what you have to wonder is how tied into this is the Democratic video they put out like the week before.
Yes, that's
saying
we forgot.
You must disobey military orders if they're illegal, and magically they came up with a military order that may or may not be illegal that probably didn't happen.
We forgot to mention how that is like a key point. How on the nose was that? The video a week later, this accusation. It was just, it's like, that's the story, but you know what?
Well, and if it was the 80s and a Coke boat got blown up, Wall Street would crumble.
Right.
That's true.
It's not the same anymore.
Larry Kudlow would be like, what's going on?
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.